At Blinds.com, it's not just about window treatments. It's about you, your style, your space, your way. Whether you DIY or want the pros to handle it all, you'll have the confidence of knowing it's done right. From free expert design help to our 100% satisfaction guarantee, everything we do is made to fit your life and your windows. Because at Blinds.com, the only thing we treat better than windows is you. Visit Blinds.com now for up to 50% off with minimum purchase plus a professional measure at no cost. Rules and restrictions apply.
Hey, I'm Mark Ronson.
And I'm Ray.
To celebrate 150 years of Audemars Piguet, we've teamed up to create something timeless.
A tribute to legacy, rhythm, and craft, with a very special connection at its heart.
A soundscape from two cities, two perspectives, and one shared vision.
Introducing our brand new song, Suzanne.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The City of Paris has received reports of ongoing ICE operations within the area. We urge all residents to remain calm, stay indoors when possible, and know your rights. Do not go out unless necessary. Stay at home and do not open the door to strangers. This message is for awareness and safety. The city is committed to protecting the dignity and well-being of all our residents. Please stay safe and continue to monitor official city communications.
Yes, that's in California, of course. The mayor there, Michael Fargas, a full video release. The city has become aware of ICE operations. Stay indoors. Do not tread outside unless you absolutely must. I guess the entire city must be worried about an ICE detainer or being, the entire city population is at risk. This from Paris, California. We know all of you are illegal. We urge you, stay indoors. Do not come out. ICE has been spotted. This is unbelievable. What is happening in California right now? All right, let's get this over with. Alan Dershowitz was on with our friend, my good friend, Sean Spicer. And it's regarding the Epstein files. I'm going to get it out the way now because after that, I'm moving on. I'm sorry. Yes, I know there is this angst. I see it on social media. Every freaking person in the world that cares about Jeffrey Epstein's list and client list and everybody lighting it up. That says a cover-up. That says the missing minute. Okay. Alan Dershowitz on with Sean Spicer today.
This is not an opinion. This is a fact. I have seen, remember, I was accused falsely on the Epstein. And ultimately, I was completely cleared. The woman admitted that she may have mistook me for somebody else and withdrew all of her lawsuits. And so from day one, from the day I was accused, I said I want every document out because I knew every document would prove I was innocent. So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them, and that's wrong.
Just out of curiosity, without names, are these politicians, business leaders, both?
They're everything. And let me tell you, a lot of them are at least one of them is somebody who was accused. Others are accusers. And the judges have said, if somebody calls themselves a victim, we're not going to give any information about them. But they may not be victims. They may be perpetrators. So we don't have information about false accusers. And we know there have been many false accusers who have accused innocent people for money. And those records are being deliberately, willfully suppressed. And they shouldn't be suppressed. If the accusation is allowed out, so should the material that diminishes the credibility of the accuser. We want total transparency on this. Every single document, no redaction. That's what I've said from day one. I waive any of my rights of privacy. Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory, because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even hug people, but I was falsely accused and I was able to prove it. And I was able to prove it through documents. And I want other people to be able to disprove false accusations through documents. But these documents are being suppressed and withheld.
Okay. Thank you. And many of you, I mean, what am I supposed to say about this? Release the documents now. Okay. Release the documents now. Thank you. I said it. Release the documents now. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, because I am look, obviously there are very, very powerful interests at work here to keep this list or these names out of the public arena. I have no idea who the people are that they're talking about, and I have no idea why what is happening. I'm sorry, I just can't get up the outrage about it. I know many people are outraged. I would be lying if I come here and try to go in full outrage mode. I am outraged. I'm not outraged. This has been going on for decades. There's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot of information that's being suppressed and has been suppressed. There are a lot of people. I saw a headline today in one of the mainstream press things about the Brennan Comey investigations going on now. And it's like the information was Trump targets 2 officials who gave an investigation on him. No. Trump is investigating, the administration, the DOJ is investigating the people who targeted Trump. But even so, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm a skeptic. I don't know whether we are going to see the complete wheel of justice turn with that. Every one of you that follows politics knows that this originated, that whole scandal, the coup attempt against Donald Trump, originated in the Obama era. Hillary Clinton, fingerprints almost all over this phony dossier. The legal firm that was used in it, D.C. legal firm, Perkins Coie, all the rest of it, up to their eyeballs maybe in it. Maybe. But what we don't know is whether Obama was in on it or not. Many people suspect this could not have happened without Obama knowing it. And let me just ask you, do you ever think we're going to get the 100% skinny out of everything? When have the Clintons ever been held accountable for the things that they have done to this country? And there have been a lot. So I'm skeptical. Like, yeah, okay, we'll see how folks, the circles within circles within circles within circles at the highest level of this government are not just limited to one party. They have powerful interest. Moving on. Kook alert. The Keep Our Kids Safe people. For many years, the Countess of Conspiracy and I have been battling over things, and you have on this program heard me openly mock the idea of chemtrails. You've heard me mock it. Yesterday, Lee Zeldin. This thing runs almost 3 minutes, and then I want to talk about another story with it. In fact, maybe I'll do the other story first because it involves this horror story that is still unfolding down in Texas. Right now, there are about 160 some odd people still missing. And that goes with the over 115 people that are dead, including many children, as you know. And despite the fact that liberals have been making some liberals, a few of them, have been making all sorts of nasty, outrageous, ugly comments about those dead children, about their parents, trying to turn it into a race obsession and all the rest of it. The horror of what is going down there is, and it's still ongoing, is just almost mind-numbing. Washington Post today has a story. He seeded clouds over Texas. Then came the conspiracy theories. Augustus Dico knew when he founded a cloud seeding startup in 2023, that he'd have to contend with misunderstandings and conspiracy theories surrounding the technology. Still, he wasn't quite prepared for the sheer volume of online fury he has faced in the wake of the catastrophic Texas floods that have killed more than 100 people, nearly twice that many missing. He says it's been nonstop pandemonium. Dico and his company Rainmaker have become the focal point of posts spiraling across social media that suggest the floods in Kirk County were human-made. They were a human-made disaster. The Washington Post writes, an array of influencers, media personalities, elected officials, and other prominent figures, including Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Georgia, and former Trump advisor Michael Flynn have publicly raised the possibility that cloud seeding operations like Rainmakers might have caused or at least exacerbated the historic deluge. That's impossible. Atmospheric scientists say cloud seeding, which planes scatter dust particles through clouds to trigger rain or snow, remains a fledgling technology. The effects are too limited, too localized to produce anything remotely like the 15 inches of rain that drowned swaths of central Texas over the 4th of July weekend. That's from film from Dubai. Never mind. The amount of energy in making those storms is astronomical compared to anything you can do with cloud seeding, says Bob Warber, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign Atmospheric Science Emeritus Professor. How'd you like to have to say that to describe yourself? We're talking about a very small increase on a natural process at best. But that hasn't stopped the conspiracy theorist. And Will Cain on his show interviewed this guy, and we'll play some of that when we get back. James Golden, Snerdley, and then you got to hear Lee Zeldin. It's wow. On this day, Mavis Staples was born. 1939 was the year. Recorded, performed with the family band, the Staples Singers, Pop Staples and his daughters. This, of course, their best known song. James Golden, Snerdley. Fastest hour in American media. We're going to talk about the conspiracies when we get back.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
A shocking poll shows Texas Democrat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is leading in the race for incumbent Republican John Cornyn's Senate seat. Even bigger news, though, the massive backlash over her making the Texas flood disaster all about her. Well, it's not news, because she does that with everything. even talking about her hairstyle. That's an odd mix of topics. Plus,
it's true. There's a poll. Jasmine's leading over John Cornyn in Texas. Unbelievable, right? Rolling Stones, a month at number one. In 1965, this day, part of that month at number one. Also, this day, 1969, was the funeral for Brian Jones, one of the founders of the original Rolling Stones. Bill Wyman, Keith Richards, Charlie Watts, all of them were there. His epitaph, please don't judge me too harshly. James Golden and Snerdley. Okay, let's get to it. I promise we'll do it. So let's start at least with this one. Will Cain had on the Rainmaker CEO, Augustus Dico. They were cloud seeding in Texas, near where this all happened right before.
The question is whether or not Rainmaker, cloud seeding on July 2nd, contributed to storms that occurred on July 4th. Did it enhance? Did it intensify what we saw some 36 to 48 hours later?
Unequivocally, our cloud seeding operations on July 2nd did not impact the flooding that occurred later. And that said, my heart and prayers are still with all of the people of Texas and all the families that have been affected. It was a tragedy. But in cloud seeding on the 2nd, one, we are regulated by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, and we have what are called suspension criteria, where if there are National Weather Service flash flood warnings or severe storm warnings, then we cannot operate in those areas per the restrictions and regulations we have. Our meteorologists actually proactively suspended operations a day before the National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning. So we were ahead of the curve.
So he's saying, nope, we didn't have anything to do with it. Nope, we didn't do it. We didn't do it. They were cloud seeding in the area days before the flooding. Now, you've already heard from scientists and other experts saying, folks, come on now. Cloud seeding cannot produce those kind of rains, not those kind of flood rains. The technology is in its infancy. Really? Really, Jonas? We have more from the CEO of Rainmaker, one more, and then you got to hear what Lee Zeldin has to say. So, whatever you do, keep it right here. Fastest hour in American media is on the way. Post Nolley's Rush Hour, and stay right here.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks. Smooth, bright, deliciously crafted. Introducing Starbucks Sansera Blend, their smoothest, brightest coffee yet. It's a new kind of light roast, one that's packed with so much flavor, it shines no matter how you brew it. So go ahead and try it hot, iced, black, or with a splash of creamer. Visit athome.starbucks.com/Sansera-blend-coffee to bring Starbucks Sansera Blend home.
How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast Gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast Gems.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
1984, on this day, the drummer, give the drummer some. The drummer got some. 16 years. 16 to life, actually. Jim Gordon, sentenced to 16 to life after being found guilty of murder. And sadly, it was his own mom. Arrested, he was suffering from schizophrenia. He had acute schizophrenia, but he wasn't allowed to use an insanity defense because California law prohibited in this case. So, a man diagnosed with acute schizophrenia, mental illness, sentenced to 16 to life in California. James Golden and Snerdley with you here. Okay, let's get back to this cloud seeding business and then to Lee Zeldin, and then I want to move on and touch on the immigration stuff happening. By the way, you might know already, a federal judge has blocked Donald Trump's birthright citizenship ban for all infants, so it makes it a nationwide block. He did put a hold on it to allow the administration to respond. A lot of people say, didn't they learn anything from the Supreme Court? Look, the Supreme Court, actually, their ruling led to this because it does allow for class actions to be brought. And this issue had to come sooner or later. So this is not one that I'm just saying, okay, you know, the judge may have his motivations, but folks, this battle has to take place. Now, back to this issue of cloud seeding and what happened in Texas. Will Cain had the CEO of Rainmaker, a company that does cloud seeding, and they were in the area 2 days. They stopped 2 days before the floods. So this was the second question that Will Cain asked.
People can listen to longer form interviews that you have done about some of the safety and research that you've done on what you use to cloud seed. Now, I want you to please address a larger question, which is one that is somewhat broad and perhaps even religious. But are you playing God? Are you messing with things that you shouldn't be messing with when it comes to the weather?
I get this question all the time, and I totally think it makes sense to ask it. My intention is to serve God. I think that in Genesis 1:26 or 28, and then throughout the Psalms and the rest of the Bible, God tells us to take dominion over and steward creation, both for our sake, creation's itself, and then to honor him. And so if there are droughts and we have the tools to mitigate the damage done by them for our sake and for nature itself, then we should deploy those for the sake of tending to and stewarding the world. And if we weren't to do that, if we were to ban cloud seeding wholesale, despite knowing that it's safe, despite knowing it could help alleviate these problems, we'd be abdicating our God-given responsibility to be stewards of the world.
Well, I'm sure that people that hear that have a religious point of view, are going to have varied opinions on his interpretation. Moving on. This might have come as a surprise. The head of the EPA, Lee Zeldin, and it speaks for itself.
Concerned Americans have urgent and important questions about geoengineering and contrails. The American public deserves and expects honesty and transparency from their government when seeking answers. But for years, people who asked questions in good faith were dismissed, even vilified by the media and their own government. That era is over. The Trump EPA is committed to total transparency. As a result, I tasked my team at EPA to compile a list of everything we know about contrails and geoengineering for for the purpose of releasing it to you now publicly. In other words, I want you to know everything I know about these topics and without any exception. Instead of simply dismissing these questions and concerns as baseless conspiracies, we're meeting them head on. We did the legwork, looked at the science, consulted agency experts, and pulled in relevant outside information to put these online resources together. Everything we know about contrails to solar geoengineering will be in there. That means anyone who reads through this information will know as much about these topics as I do as EPA administrator. To anyone who's ever looked up to the streaks in the sky and asked, what the heck is going on? We've seen headlines about private actors and even governments looking to blot out the sun in the name of stopping global warming. We've endeavored to answer all of your questions at the links on your screen. In fact, EPA shares many of the same concerns when it comes to potential threats to human health and the environment, especially from solar geoengineering activities. The enthusiasm for experiments that would pump pollutants into the high atmosphere has set off alarm bells here at the Trump EPA. Prior to now, EPA has never been this proactive to raise awareness about concerns with geoengineering and to stop this activity from being scaled up. This is what it looks like when government actually listens to the will of the people and doesn't try to squash it. You can always trust this administration and this EPA to take your concerns seriously, answer your questions honestly, and carry out the will of voters with integrity.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, your questions on, he doesn't call them chemtrails, he calls them contrails. But whatever, anyway, it's the same difference. We're talking about the same stuff. You look up in the sky, you see those patterns in the sky that are abnormal, and now all of your questions will be answered by your government, and they are going to be utterly transparent and tell you the truth. So, big day. Now, the amount of Americans worried about global warming. CNN's Harry Enton. Cut 11. Jonas, let's check in with that.
Are Americans afraid of climate change? And the answer is Americans aren't afraid of climate change. Climate activists have not successfully made the case to the American people. I want you to take a look here. Greatly worried about climate change. We have data going all the way back since 1989. Look at that. It was 35%. 2000, 40%. 2020, 46%. And 2025, 40%, which is the exact same percentage as back in 2000. Despite all of these horrible weather events, the percentage of Americans who are greatly worried about climate change has stayed pretty gosh darn consistent, which kind of boggles the mind a little bit. Granted, everything that we see on our television screens, our computer screens, the hurricanes, tornadoes, the flooding, but yet greatly worried about climate change, 40% in 2025, the exact same percentage as back in 2000.
Boom. So Americans are not rating this high on the list, and there's one person I have to thank for it. I think that deserves a lot of credit for that. That would be Rush Limbaugh, who spent years debunking some of this client nonsense that was going around. Now, I'm not saying that climate doesn't change. Climate has been changing since the earth was created by God. And things have been changing on earth every day since this world was created by God. And so, yes, things do change, and the climate is changing. But mankind, you driving around in your automobile, wrecking the world? No, anyway, I want to move on. I want to go to L.A., visit there again. Mentioned yesterday that Gavin Newsom was out in South Carolina trolling for votes. We have two. One was an appearance that he made on TV. The other was in South Carolina. Let's start with cut 6. And Gavin, the great Gasm.
You would think a little humility little grace. The President of the United States may have put out a statement talking about the fact we just celebrated the 4th of July. Next year we'll be celebrating 250 years of this enduring, values of our founding fathers, the best of the Roman Republic, best of Greek democracy, that we're all in this together. And find a little grace, a little humility. You know what he did instead? At the exact moment of the press conference, he decided to press go. And he took those military, 90 of them, those same National Guard men and women that were out there protecting the peace and helping us during the wildfires, put masks on this time. And were sent out in military gear on horseback with American flags, with Black Hawk helicopters, with tanks running down the streets of a great American city in MacArthur Park in the middle of the day while children were in summer camp playing on the soccer fields. Not one arrest was made. It was an act of cowardliness, and it was an act of cruelty intended for one purpose, cruelty, to divide us, to make us more apathetic, to make us more cynical.
All right, now let's go to Representative. Thanks, Gavs. Let's go to Ted Lieu, Democrat Ted Lieu, Representative Ted Lieu, cut 4, and this is still on this whole MacArthur Park that they keep repeating. Man.
The Trump administration is engaged in illegal mass racial profiling. So, for example, they went ahead and invaded a park in Los Angeles. There was no justification for that. They weren't going after any specific people. They just wanted to go to a park that had a bunch of brown people and try to round them up. And that is unconstitutional. It is illegal. And it turned out they didn't actually find any person who was undocumented because these are not targeted operations. These are designed to sow fear in the community. And that's why the city of Los Angeles has sued, as well as other groups such as the ACLU.
Now, Yesterday I played a clip from a woman at MacArthur Park who let us know news media isn't reporting this, GASM isn't saying it, Ted Lieu isn't saying it, that activists warned people in the park, and 15 minutes before ICE got there, they started clearing people out of MacArthur Park. Now, I want to go back to 2024. Those of you in the New York area, if you visited, you're a tourist, people from all over the country have visited the Carnegie Deli in New York. And there are other famous delis in New York like Katz Deli and everywhere. There are famous delis. If you're in Florida, there's 2J, whatever. LA has a very, very famous deli. It's called Langer's. This Cut 8 is a report from NBC News on Langer's, and you will understand why I'm playing it.
A landmark Los Angeles restaurant threatening to close because of increasing problems around MacArthur Park, including crime and homelessness. The city says it is responding, but as NBC4's Ted Chen reports, the owner says time has nearly run out.
The people who live in MacArthur Park say they've reached a breaking point over issues of crime and homelessness and drug use, and it's gotten so bad the owner of a beloved institution says he's about to close.
I've been complaining about this for ages.
Norm Langer says his frustration has reached a point where he's thinking about closing a restaurant many Angelenos can't imagine life without.
I might close it within a week.
You might close within a week?
That is correct. I'm getting that angry.
Angry enough to close Langer's Delicatessen and restaurant after nearly 80 years in the heart of MacArthur Park, where people who live here for decades say things have gotten dramatically worse, in particular problems with crime, drug use, and mental illness.
What you're seeing is a symptom here of a community in stress. I've seen things I can't even describe. I probably shouldn't describe on TV.
Yvonne Nanette Machado says the park she says she used to take her daughter to as a child has changed so much. Her daughter recently got a husky for protection.
Do you really need to get a bigger dog to feel safe around your community? It's expensive.
Langer says he's lost a third of his business and that the response from the city has been lacking.
Oh, we've got a team in there. We've got this. No, you don't have enough resources to put in there.
In a statement, the office of Councilmember Eunices Hernandez said, quote, Councilmember Hernandez has brought in an unprecedented level of funding to MacArthur Park to address the decades of underinvestment in the area. The office of LA Mayor Karen Bass said, quote, supporting local businesses like Langer's is a top priority, not just through direct aid and resources, but also also through addressing homelessness and crime. Langer told me he thinks city officials think he's bluffing when it comes to closing, and he's about to show them he's not. In MacArthur Park, Ted Chen, NBC4 News.
MacArthur Park in California has been in the decline for decades. And it is a known hangout, not just for illegal, but for MS-13, for all this. And so all of these Democrats run around like MacArthur Park is some little pristine park with children playing and having everything. And here the bad old ICE people just rolled up and tried to intimidate all these good people just out having the cheering playing. And that's a bunch of BS. These people have mismanaged the city. It is poorly run. It is a danger to businesses are leaving. Now, by the way, I checked. This guy's still there. He's trying to stay through the Olympics, if he can keep his doors open through the Olympics. And they have increased police patrols around his deli. But that park is still a mess. And it has been. These people are obscene with what they're trying to pull off here. We got to take a break. We got more on the other side. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media. What you got here, Jonas? I know what this is. It's the Starlight Vocal Band.
That is correct.
You believe this song went to number one?
I can see it, kind of. My
this
first
song
time hearing
was huge. Little afternoon delight.
Nice and mellow.
It's nice and country. 2 weeks at number one, 1976. On this day.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The year 2000, Coldplay releases their debut album, Parachutes. James Golden with you here, the fastest hour in American media. Folks, I have so many man on the street stuff for you today and women on the whatever they're on, like this gal.
I just got out of a meeting with my DHS caseworker, and she is threatening me once again to take everything unless I go and get a job. I explained to her I can't go and get a job. Actually, it's not even that I can't. It's that I do not want to. I have been on welfare for 13 years. 13 years I have been on Section 8, so I haven't had to pay rent, okay? Food stamps, cash assistance, disability. I don't even know how a job works, okay? I don't want to work. That is the whole point. I don't want to work. I told her she is not going to take my food stamps. She is not going to take my Section 8. And I'm still not going to work. You trying to get me to work and me refusing is a you problem. It's not a me problem. I will continue to sit at home on my ass while the taxpayers work and support me and my children. Because if you are in America and you pay taxes, that is your responsibility. So, no, sweetheart, I'm not going to work. Thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are all kind of things. We can't even get into them all. Let me give you just a hint. Grab 16 real quick. We'll only just play 30 seconds, and you'll get the gist of this one.
So now you can't get lashes, you can't get your hair done, you can't buy no lobster, you can't buy no crab, you can't go on no trips, you can't have a life because you on
They're worried
welfare.
about the big, beautiful bill. We'll get back to that one. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, especially you workers out there. Love and gratitude, my friends, for being here with me and allowing me to be with you. God willing, we are back tomorrow. for the Friday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Until then, my friends, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?